Through no fault of its own, our school closed with no warning at all. I work a Monday through Thursday schedule, and I went home on Thursday, March 12th, 2020, and on Friday the 13th, we got word that we weren't going back. So for a couple of weeks, we were in limbo, and then we were served a one-course meal, and that course was a crash course in Zoom and technology. And at first, I was like everyone else. I was like, oh my gosh, woe is me. I can't do this. It's too much. I'm not paid for this. I wasn't trained for this. And then I thought, wait a minute. We're educators. We should embrace learning. And at this stage of my life, what a gift to have the opportunity to learn something new with real life consequences. And those consequences were our ability to teach our students. And then I thought, yeah, this is really difficult, but is it more difficult than, say, learning English? I am definitely not a tech wizard. I may be some kind of J.R.R. Tolkien wizard, but I'm definitely not a tech wizard. The way I learn technology, I sit in front of my computer and I say, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then I click this and nothing happens. And I click that and nothing happens. And I click this and nothing happens. And I click that, and I click this, and I click that, and then something happens. And I'm like, oh yes, of course, now I get it. And then the next day I completely forget it. And I have to learn it all over again, which is exactly what we ask of our students: persistence and repetition. And it certainly helps if you have a partner to take the journey with. I was lucky to have a friend and colleague in the same boat as I. We're friends on Facebook, and we would message each other and say, you know, I'm trying to figure out something on Zoom. Could you get on and we'll work through it together? And we did, and we did. Now, for some reason, this always seemed to happen around midnight. I don't know why, but I'd always look and go, it's midnight. I think this may be the time when the inner wizard appears. Or else maybe it's just that by midnight, you've exhausted every other possibility. I'm a big fan of the Ventures books, and one of my favorite components of the series is the collaborative exercises. This is the fun stuff that students work on together. As I was preparing to begin teaching online, my burning question was there a way that I could continue using these exercises? Fortunately, I took one professional development class that introduced me to the wonderful website, flippity.net, and this is what I came up with. Okay, I'd like to take you on a quick tour of how I've taken advantage of Flippity and Google Slides to transfer the Ventures collaborative exercises into the digital classroom. Here we go. So the first thing is flashcards, vocabulary flashcards for my lower levels. And they just flip them over here: bulletin board, globe, index cards. Now we have the concentration style card. It's got numbers here. So in a breakout room, the students can play together, and each student takes turns picking a couple of numbers. Let's go for 8 and 5. Sorry, not a match. Then we have our unscramble exercises. Put the story in the correct order. Well, instead of cutting out slips of paper, I now have a manipulative board where they can, again, in breakout rooms, work together and drag the story into the correct order. For find the differences, I can't have students sitting next to each other looking at the differences, so I put them side by side here, and they can use their Zoom tools to circle and talk about the differences. And finally, we have the very popular with my students, conversation cards. So you just pick a card and you get the conversation going. Wait a minute. Is this card about me? Okay, we're moving on here. Digital content has obviously been very popular this year, and I love it. Ventures has some great digital content. There's Ventures Arcade, which is a lot of fun. And I often use the Ventures digital workbook as a warmer. But I want to put a word in for physical textbooks. I think they're great. Our students have so much going on in their lives. A physical textbook is literally something they can hold on to. And as a teacher, well, you may have noticed just from this presentation, I tend to be all over the place. I like and need that structure underneath me. And I don't feel that it makes me any less creative in class. No, it gives me breathing space. To me, a good book is like a diving board that I take off from and the home to which I return. Also, you know, many of our students may not own many books. And for them, it's like a beautiful badge of honor. Whether in the classroom or online, after they get the book, they often come into class holding their book, beaming. And I love that. Our classes where I teach are free. I'm part of the public school system. But you know, the small investment that a student makes in a book, they are literally and figuratively buying into the class. Last weekend, I went to a group meditation on Zoom, and I was fascinated because obviously I'm sitting alone in my living room looking at a computer. And yet when we meditated, I had the same rich, deep communal experience that I have when I'm meditating with a large group of people in person. And it brought me back to something I'd pondered at the beginning of the pandemic, which is, could students and teachers bond on Zoom? When we began, I had one student who said, you know, you need the physical contact. And of course, the power of physical presence is undeniable. But after a couple of weeks, I said, you know, I kind of feel like we're connecting. And that student said, yeah, but that's because we knew each other in person already. Well, then the next semester came along, and I was now with people I hadn't met in person and who hadn't met each other. And I did see a lot of connections being made. I saw people in chat and exchanging phone numbers, younger people reaching out to older people, and someone offering a student who's a yoga teacher, offering to give yoga classes on Zoom together. So there does, to me, seem surprisingly to be something very powerful about minds working together, even if they're not physically together. And it makes me think that, as much of a grammar geek as I am, that maybe there's a power beyond the physical, greater than even grammar. Hi, guys.
Hi, teacher.
It's so great to see all of you.
Hello. To see you, teacher.
Hi.
It's been a long time for some of you. Some of you are still in my class, and some of you it's been 6 months or more. So thank you so much for joining me.
Welcome.
So first thing I'm going to do is just ask if you'll all just say your name and where you're from. Let's start with Leticia.
Okay. Hi, my name is Leticia. I'm from Brazil.
Hi, my name is Fernie. I'm from Mexico.
Hi, my name is Julio Cesar. I'm from Venezuela.
Hi, my name is Ronel. I'm from Russia. Hi, my name is Veronica. I'm from Colombia.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
There's only
Yes,
6
it's
of us in a
amazing.
different country for each one. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So the reason that I asked you specifically, this group of people here, is because you're in a very unique position, which is you were studying with me before the pandemic, and then you studied with me on Zoom. So you've experienced the group live and then on Zoom. And it was so sudden, remember? I mean, we were just told, okay, we're gone. It's no warning. So I'd like to hear from you. Well, let me just take a show of hands to begin with. How many of you preferred the classroom? One. Okay.
Me too. I like both.
Like
Yes.
both.
Yes, I like both.
We in the middle.
You're in the middle. Leticia?
I think it's some advance in both kind of class,
Yeah,
but I still prefer the online class.
really? Okay. And Renelle?
Yes, I consider that online is very good for adult people, because adult people have a lot of stuff and a lot of work, and it's very convenient.
Yes, the traffic.
Yes,
Yes,
traffic.
I
delay.
miss to share in the cafeteria. Remember?
Yeah. But to me, it's better in Zoom too, because we can talking more than in the live class, because
Yeah.
sometimes we can talking, or sometimes we are shy, and at the Zoom you need talking. The classrooms, when you put us in groups, or the talking rooms, these you need to talk. So I improve my speaking a lot because the online class,
That's
this
very
is a
interesting.
good point.
You know, one of the things I like as a teacher is that, you know, in the classroom, some people sit to the side, they sit in the back, and here everyone's in the front row. So when I'm teaching something, you know, we can tell by your faces when you understand something, when you don't. Because sometimes people say they understand something, but they're like, you know, they don't get it. So here I can really kind of see, okay, I think maybe we need to spend a little bit more time on this, a little bit more time on that. So that's one thing that I like about Zoom. Everyone's equal. Everyone's equal. Everyone's in the front row, you know.
I agree.
And I have to tell our viewers, Renelle is amazing because she was pregnant during our class.
I
You
remember
had
that.
a baby and you were back like in 2 days.
2 days.
You were like, I'm like, but you just had a baby. How can
And
you be
pretty
back?
and happy, and like
Yeah,
not happened, you know.
yeah.
I remember that.
So there's something I really want to talk about because I was so impressed when you guys did it. 3 of you were involved in this, Renelle, Fernie, and Julio. When we were off we had a break between the end of the spring semester and summer. And I think even while we were studying in class, you started a study group on Zoom. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was how many? Like 4 of you?
Yeah, 3 from this group and other guy.
And Artem.
Yeah.
Artem,
Okay.
yes.
So whose idea was that?
Julio.
Julio, I think, yes.
I don't remember, but okay, it was me.
Okay, the next thing I'd like to do is talk about book club. Do you all remember book club?
Yes, I
Okay.
remember this.
So what I loved about this is it was something that was so unique, it's such a unique opportunity that we could do on Zoom, which we couldn't do in a classroom, which was ask other teachers and classes to join us. So we had a book club. We all read the same book online. They were ESL versions of classics. And then we'd have the other classes come. And, you know, we had a little format with it. We'd kind of do a group thing. We'd talk about the characters. We'd go into breakout rooms. I know we would tell the story, retell the story. Sometimes we would tell the story as a particular character. And then we'd have conversation about the themes and ideas in it. So first of all, do you remember what books we read in book club?
Yeah. Yes, we read
Dracula.
The Three Musketeers,
Dracula.
Musketeers,
Dracula,
Dracula, and Great
Expectations,
Great
yeah.
Expectations.
and Moby
yes.
Dick.
Moby Dick,
too. And Pocahontas, I think so.
Pocahontas.
I
Yes.
don't remember.
Ah,
Yeah.
Gandhi.
That's
Gandhi.
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 Yeah.
Which was your favorite?
Gandhi.
Favorite? Gandhi.
Expectation.
For me, Gandhi.
Great Expectation too.
Okay,
Yes.
Gandhi and Great Expectations. Sorry, Dracula. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
It's very good to know the another students with another class, and it's always super funny because we talking about the books and we can learn new vocabulary. So I is always is a great time to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Fantastic.
great things.
Yes, and for me was like challenging, but because the read club pushed me to read, and it was a goal.
Yes, you had a
Like,
deadline.
I have a goal, and
Yes, me
we
too.
have a deadline, and so it was really good.
Yes, me too. Was the first time
Yes.
I read stories in English. Yes.
It's been an incredible year. I want to leave you with maybe my biggest takeaway. Pants without at least some elastic in the waist are no longer an option. Thank you so much to Cambridge Press and to the good folks at Ventures for this lovely opportunity to share some of my random thoughts about this past year. Happy Teachers Appreciation Day to all. It's a great profession.